now that we're done spinning around, today on PlantPoweredBrothaz, these two don't know what I'm about to speak on.
We never know what you're going to speak on. That's the whole problem. Because you always say anything and everything.
Because I'm crazy.
Are you? Don't speak that into existence.
Oh, I'm nuts.
I just thought you don't take your medication.
No, I'm crazy. Certified crazy. So today, since we don't speak on it that much,
okay,
right? We're gonna speak on race in the vegan community.
Okay.
Right? Why are some races? Why do they are more involved in veganism and the plant-based society, and why sometimes that even with race that we're separated there as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even like in real society, how people are separated and how we have different experiences, as vegans, we are also separated and put into a different box as well, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
So if anybody has questions, ask them as we go. You don't have to wait till we're done talking, or any comments or anything like that. So I'm going to talk to you, Kat. First, I'm going to ask you, why do you think this is the way it is?
Well, I mean, it has to go, at least in the United States, it has to go back to slavery and what we had to go through, and the diet that was implemented to us for, what has it been, 400 years now?
The slave diet.
The slave diet, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this is what was given to us, we made the best of it, and now reprogramming all the thought process of what we're supposed to be putting in our body is now occurring in this day and age. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about it, like think about people that got off the boat in Jamaica versus the ones that came to America. Like, the Jamaicans way more tapped into the vegan, plant-based lifestyle than the American side of it. You know what I'm saying?
Katrina said hi.
Huh?
Katrina said hi.
What's up, Katrina? What's going on? So it was like something that was forced upon us, and now it's the time where we're coming to that awakening point of this is not right. It's not working for us.
Right, but even in society right now, let's not even talk about veganism.
Okay.
There's a separation going on.
Oh, yeah.
Even more and more so now with what's going on in America, we're being separated.
Yeah.
And when I look at the vegan community, I think a lot of people that non-black vegans, they still don't have an understanding about us and what we go through.
Yeah.
There's still a lack of understanding.
Yeah,
Katrina said it's all marketing.
It's all marketing. What do you mean by that, Katrina? Like, give us a little bit more insight so we could talk about that.
I think she's talking about it's marketing being marketed towards us.
Okay.
And that's why we're buying into it. You know what I'm saying? It's a setup. They're selling it to us and we're buying it, whatever that is. Just like if you look in our neighborhoods, what is marketed to us?
Yeah.
Sodas, juice.
Right. I mean, alcohol,
chicken,
bad food choices.
So you're saying the vegan lifestyle is being marketed to us?
No.
Right now?
The opposite of the vegan lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit right here, y'all, so I can
So
kind of
answer the questions. I'll sit in the middle.
She said, "Why America has the worst diet?" And she said she agreed with you, Monk.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree 100%.
Well, yeah, in the hood, all you're gonna find is processed and junk food, and that's what we grow up from day one. And I was just talking to somebody about this. I wanna put this out there in the universe. So you got to think about it. The mother has the baby in the womb, right? What is it feeding that baby from day one? What nutrients, what addictions are happening within that womb with that baby? That baby's getting processed food, is getting the high toast.
Yeah, already losing, already behind.
Mm-hmm. Right there in the womb, and comes out craving these things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, one of the things is like even I remember when my son was born, the first thing that they did was they gave him a sugar shot before he got any type of
immunizations.
Yeah, well, he didn't get any immunizations, but they gave him a sugar shot because I forgot what they were trying to do. They were trying to give him something, but they gave him sugar first in his mouth, and he was like, he didn't pay attention to the shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's like a numbing,
numbing
agent kind of thing.
So it kind of lets you know like how they use certain different things to make people become addicted to it from day one.
Yeah.
You know?
So another thing, a really important thing I wanted to talk about is there's a lot of people in the vegan community that love animals and they have an understanding about the difference between a pet and a farm animal. And the understanding is they know they're the same, right? But they're just treated different. But a lot of people cannot still wrap their minds around in the human experience, there's the same thing that's going on, right?
Right.
Black people are treated different, and they don't get that concept.
Well, I think it's a way of being unaware. It's a way of kind of allowing your tuning not to tune into that aspect of it, because that aspect is too hard to digest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's hard for you to digest the fact that something is happening that could be that horrific, and you don't want to face it. And the easiest thing to face is the oppression of the animals.
Yeah, right. It's like cognitive dissonance, right?
Yeah.
You choose to justify or make something rational out of the irrational. You know what I'm saying?
I think social media is also giving it even a heightened sense where you can see a Caucasian person hop out of a car with a policeman, strike a policeman, and the policeman won't pull out his pistol or anything like that, versus somebody that's disarmed, talking to a police officer, getting shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Painting that picture, it's like, you don't understand that as soon as we get pulled over or something, it's a whole different kind of feeling. And when we're talking about what's going on in our communities, we're getting, okay, like, for instance, you go to like a Walnut Creek or a higher end area, right? You're gonna see a McDonald's for a whole Dublin area.
Right, it's not gonna be on every corner.
It's not gonna be on
Well,
every
that's
corner.
because of the law. That's the way they make their laws.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
zoning stuff, they make it so they can't come in.
Yeah, their city is set up like that, and so McDonald's and Burger King and Jack in the Box, they know that. That's the reason why when they build those places so close together, because they already know, like, hey, I could have 10 locations in Oakland,
Yeah.
and nobody will say anything to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna flood the neighborhood.
Right.
So I think with the we just need more understanding. We have to understand, just like in the animal kingdom, that these two animals have a different experience. We have to understand that humans have the same different experience. And I think some people just kind of say, well, they have choices, they have this, they have that, unlike an animal, right? But our choices are limited, and we have repercussions to our choices, right?
Oh, Katrina said Walnut Creek has an ordinance of no drive-throughs.
There you go.
Well, and that's because whatever they did in their voting process, they were unified to that.
Right.
So we don't even, I mean, if that's the case, how many of us take part in that as well?
It's what
In creating the laws for our community that we're complaining about, but we don't go and
See,
participate.
I think one of the biggest problems with the whole thing is, for one, lack of information.
Yeah.
And for two, they're dumbing us down with what they're giving in their neighborhood. It's not by accident.
No.
So if you get these people drinking sodas at an early age, eating bad food, drinking alcohol, doing drugs, their mind is not right. They're not, let's change everything, right? They're just part of it. It's part of the matrix, right? Now you have the prison system. You're taking these young boys to prison at a real young age, breaking up the family structure, boom, boom, boom. It's all set up like this. So to say, well, let's come together, it's easy to say.
Yeah.
But it's much harder to get everybody in that same state.
I mean, that's why we created what we've created.
That's why we got
So
this.
we have a channel for those that are looking for the information and seeking it out and want to see somebody, from the neighborhood talking about things that they might be curious about but don't have access to the information.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right. Well, I think too, one of the things is like, I feel like culturally, I think we see animals in a different light. You know what I mean? Like, just the way we interact with them. I'll just keep it real, like, speak personally. Like, when I had a dog, my dog stayed outside. My dog didn't come in the house. My dog wasn't on no furniture. My dog didn't do that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And when I always remember seeing dogs when I was younger, I remember seeing them outside.
Right.
Like, I've never seen a dog in the house. And I think what happens is like, people have these relationships with animals that are more human-esque in origin. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think for when you think about most of the people of color that I know, or black people that I know, their pets are outside. Yeah. Just what I remember even growing up. Yeah. There was a backyard where the dog was at, and that was the dog's area. Yeah. You know, and I think when we talk about even going back even further, but a lot of animals were used for attacking black people.
I was gonna say, how many black people are just naturally scared of dogs?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you can see that we're always leery of dogs.
Yeah.
Right.
In particular.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think our
it was used to hunt us.
Exactly. right. And so
you know?
I think that further puts in our DNA a different relationship.
From
with the animals. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like you know, the way certain people use animals, they use terms like, oh, the best friend, you know, or like, you know, a part of the family. You know, that you see it on the back of people's windows, they'll have their dog as a family member.
Right.
And that's cool, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think when it comes to that point where you value your dog more than you value a human life.
Right.
You know what
on
I mean?
one level though, right?
Yeah.
You value a dog more than you value these people.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference. If you just value the dog more than you just value life in general, okay, that's one thing. But if you value a dog more than you value a certain group or the lives of a certain group of people, when you would rather you're more bitter if you see a dog getting hurt than seeing a black human getting hung or shot, or try to justify, well, he should have said the right thing, or he should have got out the car, he shouldn't have ran his mouth, right? Where if a dog barks and gets shot, you're not going to say, well, he shouldn't have barked.
They're like, oh, he needs to go to jail.
Right.
Or, you know, like,
he needs to be justice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it's you have to have some understanding.
Right.
I mean, if you have one day, hold on, let me say this. If you put on a black suit and you went out and one day, you would 100% sure see people looking at you different and treating you different.
Yeah. But this is the thing, and I'll say this because I just thought about this, and I feel like when we are asking for permission for something that's already ours, and when I say that, a plant-based diet is nothing new to us. We've been on plant-based diets since the beginning of time.
Right.
So it's
we
not
just
like
lost our way.
Yeah, it's not like this is not our stuff. And I think the biggest thing is that once you reclaim it, that's when you are able to get rid of the people that kind of like recently branded it. You know what I mean? Like vegan and stuff like that. It's like, this has been around before the term vegan.
Oh yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? Like it's ancient.
Yeah.
And so I think what happens when we talk about it in the context of race is that once again we're looking for permission to take what's ours. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for permission to be like, oh, you know what? We can be a part of this. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't look for permission for nothing.
Right.
So I'm just saying, once we change our diets, right, and change our habits, then we can change our actions as far as what we do and what we're about and what we think is important and what we think is not important, because you're starting to clear out that the dumbness. You're starting to clear that out. Now you're starting to be able to think right? With meditation, with the diet, with this. Now you're starting to go, okay, maybe we should do this. Maybe we should make these decisions. Maybe we should make a show called PlantPoweredBrothaz and give this information to other people.
Exactly.
And that's where we're at.
Giving people another frequency to vibe on, you know? But at the end of the day, what do you think? Okay, so it makes sense for us, right? What tools can we give you as a viewer to help you on your journey? Because this is what the show is all about. We understand, you know, the process and the journey, but we want to help more people on their journey. Like we were talking about a 14-day program. Transitional program. I know a lot of people have been talking about that. It's like, you know, how did you guys transition? Me personally, it was like a light switch. It just on and off. But that's not everybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? You were a similar kind of situation. It was like on and off. I don't know.
I was like that too.
Yeah.
For me, once I find information that allows me to make a better decision, I don't have you know, I don't have to drip myself into making a decision. You know what I mean? It's easier for me to make that.
I got to download through meditation. So once a question was asked, it was just like this.
Well, Katrina says mindset shifts is what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what tools do you think that we could provide to our viewers that would help you on your guys' journey, those that are seeking you? You know what I'm saying?
I think one tool that I like to tell people, and whenever I tell it to them, it makes a lot of sense, is that if you're looking to change, if you're looking to transition, if you're looking to do something different, start off with smaller increments. So like 10% every month. If you do 10% every month of a reduction of whatever you're trying to reduce, then by the time a year is up, you'll be already at your goal. So, you know, like let's just say if you're trying to stop eating eggs and dairy and cheese, you reduce the amount that you're eating it by 10% every month. So that means, like, let's just give an example. If you eat it 7 days a week, then you will only eat it 6 days a week. You know what I mean? And then the next month, you would do 5 days a week. You know what I mean? And then so on and so on until you get that stuff out of your diet. And I think that's the...
Yeah, I think most people need that, because people that try to do a cold turkey that aren't ready,
yeah,
they always just go...
Well, because a lot of people are addicted to the substances that are actually in the stuff that they eat.
Right,
so
yeah, absolutely.
it becomes more of a chemical thing, and then it's mental. Mm-hmm. It's a mental aspect to hunger. You know, because it's like sometimes people eat with their eyes. Mm-hmm. And so if they're used to eating big giant ass plates of stuff, if you give them something, even though it's filling, you know, like, and then sometimes people like to overeat. So we're dealing with that too as well. And the thing about it is like you can't overeat when you're eating plant-based foods for the most part if it's whole food.
Right.
Yeah.
What she say right there?
She said, I find to help my clients go through the process of breaking their emotional attachments. Hold up. Oh, as a part of the transition process. So that's true. That's big, because it is an emotional thing.
Yeah.
You know, some people go back to how they felt when they were depressed.
Or even kids, the relationship, like every holiday they had this type of food. And
right.
They're expecting that.
But you got to think about it like this. Okay, so say if we're all friends, right? And I decide to go plant-based, and you're my two best friends, and now we're going out to go eat and stuff like that. I'm not included in the, you know what I'm saying? In the circle.
So there has to be a support level.
Exactly.
You know, it has to be a level of support that's set up for that.
Yeah. And I was talking to one of my clients about that, and I was like, she was like, you know, I've been doing good, but she was like, you know, it's always that outer, like, hey, you know, how long are you gonna be doing this for? Like, you know, that pressure from friends.
Well, this is what I say about that.
Yeah.
If you don't have any friends that force you to improve, or that you look at and that don't make you want to improve, then you need some new friends. You know what I mean?
I feel once you start changing your vibration, they're gonna drop off anyway.
Well, yeah,
so other people are gonna come into your
life.
life.
At the end of the day, you still have to have friends that make you want to level up. Because oftentimes what people do is they keep the same friends around because the same friends keep the same habits.
But I think organically, because this is what happened to me, the people I used to hang around with, I no longer hang around with. I didn't try to drop them or lose them or anything like that, right?
Not everybody's going to be at that point in their life where they're ready to let that go. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because some people want to have one foot in the door and one foot out.
You can't do it though.
Yeah. Right. But what do you say to those people that are? So I say it like, you know, it was
saying if you leave that one foot in, they're gonna drag your ass right back in there.
Right, but it was a post that I seen that somebody tagged me in on Instagram. So it was like one of my old clients, and every time I see her post, it's always like horrible food, alcohol. I'm like, yo, you said you was trying to be healthy. Yeah. And so she tagged me in this post of this dude on Instagram. His name is Chris something, and he was talking about if I want to eat bad food, let me. I know it's bad, and that made me think. I'm like, yo, if you got friends around you that are even questioning, like they're saying, hey, don't you think you should not eat that? Like those are the people that you want in your life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you should not alienate yourself from those people. Those are the people that you want in your life, because at the end of the day, a person that cares about you is going to tell you something.
But I just think people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. And that's why they don't want them in their life. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to see the truth. But then that goes to the thing about leveling up.
They want to put them blinders on. That means that they don't want to level up. And if they don't want to level up, that's cool.
They ain't ready.
Yeah. Any more questions?
So, I think at the end of the day, man, we need love.
Yeah.
Love for self. When
Yeah.
you love yourself, you're gonna do the best for yourself. You're
Yeah.
gonna put the best stuff in your body. And I'm not saying I'm perfect or anybody here is perfect, but you're gonna try to do. You're not gonna go to fast food. For me personally, I'm not gonna put poison in my body. I'm not gonna drink. I'm not gonna do any of that
Right.
because I now learn to love myself.
Right.
Right. Love
Self-love.
for self, love for others, understanding.
Yeah.
Right. Even from this side to the other side, that side, have an understanding that these bodies are just bodies and our experiences are different because of it. But deeper than that, we're all connected. To
Well,
the soul.
I say on this level of understanding is one thing you got to remember is that this is not video games. Like you don't got a extra life waiting in the cuss that you could just eat or drink a magical potion that's gonna give you another life. You only got one time to do this thing that we call life right while you in this body. So if you know that, then that means every move that you make should be geared toward you being the best and doing the maximum that you could do in this body that we have at the moment.
If you ask yourself everything you do, am I loving myself?
Yeah.
That's it. Ask that
Yeah.
question. Am I loving myself? When you sit down to eat this 8,000 calorie meal
Yeah.
with pork chops and bacon, knowing that these are carcinogens, ask yourself, am I loving myself?
Yeah.
Well, you could know that by how you feel. How do you feel after you eat that? If you don't feel energy, then you're robbing yourself.
Right.
And so you can only rob yourself for so long before you go broke.
What they say, when you eat, you're either feeding disease or fighting disease, right?
Yeah.
Which one are you doing?
Yeah. What's up, Sherelle? You got any questions for us?
So I know I was talking to my client earlier today about this. So we were talking about drinking, social drinking, stuff like that, right? And it was one of the things where in a group setting, it's like, hey, I came to the point in my life where I knew if I took that drink, it's going to lead to another drink, which is going to lead to a bad eating choice afterwards.
Oh,
That's going
man,
to
the
lead to a
whole-
hangover next day, which is going
More
to less
bad
protect.
eating.
Yeah. So it's a chain reaction. She was like, "How did you stop?" I was like, I know myself so well. I knew that I wanted to break that cycle.
But whenever you have a new thing that you're trying to do, you need new friends that are doing the same thing you want to do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like let's just, as much as we hate to say it, you just need new friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like if your friends are the party type and you ain't about partying no
And that's
more.
what I'm saying. If you change yourself,
Yeah.
they're gonna drop off because they don't want to do what you're doing, right? And other people like y'all, right? If I was doing the same
Fill
thing
that
I was
space.
doing, we wouldn't be sitting here
Well,
right now.
because-
If Kat was doing the same thing you were doing, we might be sitting somewhere at a bar together.
Yeah, because energetically,
Vibrationally, you're getting drawn to where you are.
water always finds its own level.
That's what I'm saying.
So no matter what, it's always gonna find the level.
So you don't have to worry about having friends. That's not important.
But
What's
some
important,
people are scared to be alone.
what I'm saying is, what is important, you're never alone if you know who you are.
Right, but you gotta remember,
You know what I'm saying?
you still talking about another.
I think this is another episode. We're going into a whole other episode, brother.
You still talking from a standpoint of like the level that you're at. It's some people that can't have silence.
Ooh, silence is powerful, y'all.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's certain people that can't go to sleep without the TV on. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta be thinking about those mindsets of the average person that we dealing with.
I'm just trying to tell them some truth.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't need to hold on. If you take care of yourself, if you do your self-work, people are going to show up in your life. Amazing
Exactly.
people will show up in your life, and you
Yeah.
don't even need to try. You
Yeah.
don't be in the grocery store, someone come up, oh, you about that? Oh man, let's exchange information. And that's just what happens.
Yeah.
You got to trust the process. Heal yourself. People will come into your life just like you.
And on that note, that was powerful. On that note, we're gonna take this time to end this episode. I think that was a pretty good way to end it. What y'all think?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Tell 'em where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at PlantBFit1. Where can they find you at, Kat?
Man, you can find me on IG at CatFitness3, on Facebook at CatFitness.
Where can they find you
IG
at?
at I Am Vegan Monk and Facebook Vegan Monk.
But they got to follow all three of
Yeah.
us. Where?
On the Plant-Powered Brothers with a Z.
With the
and
Z.
then
A-Z.
AZ.
Because it's not easy, it's AZ.
Well, yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
But
you said with a Z.
With a Z.
With an AZ.
BROTHAZ.
AZ.
Yeah. So and then this is one other thing too that we want y'all to get into a habit of doing. We're trying to grow this. We're trying to make this bigger than just, you know, a few people seeing this. We want this stuff to go viral. So
more than just a few people sitting in the basement.
yeah. So at the end of the day, if you feel like what we're doing is worth you watching, you know, if you're participating, only thing we want you to do is share this. Don't like it, because liking is okay, but we want you to share
Well,
it.
you can do both.
No, forget liking. Liking don't get you nowhere. Share it. Share it.
Where's that button?
Yeah, click that and share it. You know, because it's important and it allows us to keep producing content. And we want to know what you guys want to know, so we can share all of our wealth of knowledge on y'all.
All right. So we
That
love
being
y'all.
said-
We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.